guys, welcome to A Bear Knows Cooking, edition number 1. So tonight I'm making heart healthy and diabetic friendly oatmeal raisin cookies. What? How is it possible? Well, okay, your definition of heart healthy and diabetic friendly depends on your quantity, and that's like the biggest thing when I'm talking about these types of recipes. It's about how your quantity and how much you actually eat. So the idea here is it's lower in cholesterol, lower in fat, lower in calories, lower in sugar. So here we go, let's make them. So we're going to start off with some heart healthy margarine. I'm going to get crap about not using butter for my Midwest folks, but this is just actually better for you. It's lower in calories. It's got lower cholesterol. It's like it says, it's heart healthy. So we're going to cream that together with some packed brown sugar. And you can find the recipe on the website. And when you say cream, what you're doing, I'm going to show you here, you're combining the ingredients until they come into, basically they come together. And with the nice thing about margarine is you're not going to actually have to worry about over mixing. So I'm going to put the camera back up so that I can actually do this. You don't have to worry about over mixing. And that's one of the things that when you are making cookies or anything in the baking realm, you don't want your butter to melt. Otherwise you're going to get crispy cookies. So the nice thing about a margarine is that it doesn't really melt until you bake it. Okay, so I've got my butter and sugar mixture combined. So I'll let you see what that looks like. So there you go, it's nice and combined. And then we're going to add to that 1 lightly beaten egg. So we'll stir that in there and combine that. And yes, I actually pre-portioned all of this stuff, which Steve would laugh his ass off at me, but you know, I'm like playing cooking show, right? Alright, so we're going to combine that till that's mixed. Alright, fabulous. And then to add, we're going to add some vanilla. Vanilla is a great flavor. You could use pure vanilla extract, you could use imitation vanilla. I like the Mexican vanilla flavoring. I did not use that for this particular recipe, but I love that flavoring. It just has some essences of different flavors to it. Okay, so now we've combined those ingredients. You see that here. So with the margarine, it's going to look kind of funky, but that's okay. So that's exactly the consistency we want. By the way, you should be preheating your oven to 375 for these. Alright, we're going to add just a little bit of water, and this will make more sense in a minute. I'm going to add some water to that just to kind of give it a little bit of a thinner texture. Alright, now let's talk about dry ingredients. So, over here you'll see that I have some flour, and I have some protein powder, and some wheat germ, baking powder, oats, and raisins. Now what if you don't like raisins? Okay, well, there's something wrong with you. I'm just kidding. But if you don't like raisins, you could use any dry fruit. You could use apricots, you could use dates, you could use currants, you could use dried cranberries, you can use a variety of different things. So I'm going to combine my baking powder, this is not baking soda, this is baking powder, with my flour. Just give that kind of a little light whisk just to incorporate it very well. I'm also going to combine in my protein powder, which this is actually just designed to give a little bit more protein to the mix. Protein's always good, especially when you're heart healthy and diabetic friendly, because you want low carb, high protein. So we're going to combine that together, add our wheat germ. Wheat germ is just another great fiber. It's got a lot of fiber to it. It's going to give you a lot of good texture as well. So we'll combine those ingredients together. Just give it a light whisk. So you see here, just a light little whisk. And then I'm going to add it to the egg, butter, sugar, water, vanilla mixture. Say that 10 times fast. Okay, so we'll stir that to combine. Sorry, I moved the camera. It's my first video, you know. So we'll combine that all together. Gonna get a really stiff batter, and that's really okay. Because what's gonna happen is the oats will absorb some additional moisture. The protein powder is gonna be take up a lot of the moisture as well. And if it's too dry, you can always add a little bit more water to it. I'm gonna add 2 cups of oats. Again, the recipe is on the website. You'll see the whole thing. Combine that. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty stiff batter. That's okay. Now, oatmeal raisin is one of my favorite cookies, which is why we're making it tonight. It's not my absolute favorite. My absolute favorite in the whole wide world, more than any other cookie, is the snickerdoodle. I will save that recipe for a holiday edition of Bear Nose Cooking. Alright. So this is a pretty stiff dough. It's where it's supposed to be, though. It's exactly right. I'll add my raisins. See, yay, raisins. Raisins are just dried grapes, for those that you don't know that. There's my education moment. Alright. We're combining. Ooh, down raisin. Okay. And someday I'll actually get like a real camera, not use my phone, and then you can see everything that I'm doing here. But here is the final result of this dough. Okay, so you can see there, it's a very dry dough. That's okay. These are really, really tasty, and they're going to turn out fantastically. Now, alright, so next thing you're going to do is roll them out. Now, you could use 2 spoons, you could use a scoop, you could use your hands. I'm actually going to use my hands, so one of the few times I actually take my wedding ring off is when I'm baking or cooking, so that I can actually get my hands dirty without worrying about having to get pits in my wedding ring. So, we're going to roll these out into about 1-inch balls. There's no exact science to this. 1 inch is, you know, it's approximate. And I'm using a silicone lined baking mat. These are going to make about 2 dozen cookies, give or take, and you'll see what they look like when I'm done. So, ooh, I have like gunk all over my hands. Yay! Alright, so we're rolling them out into about 1.5 inch balls. I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Okay guys, so now I've got them all on the trays, and they're not going to puff up very much because we use baking powder instead of baking soda. So what I'm going to do is flatten them out. And to do that, I just took the bottom side of a glass and sprayed it with a little vegetable oil. And we just pressed them down. So do that with all these, and then we'll get them in the oven. And we'll see you back here in about 10 to 12 minutes. Okay guys, they're out of the oven. Woohoo! That was a fast 12 minutes. Haha. Anyway, this is what you can expect they'll look like. Nice and toasted brown on the top. Haven't spread out a whole lot, as I mentioned. Then you want to transfer them to a wire cooling rack for, you know, 10 minutes or so, or whatever. Or if you're like me and you can't wait, you just typically dive right in. Well, I'm going to let them cool, and I'll show you the finished product when they're done. Alright guys, I couldn't wait. So, they're crunchy on the outside, chewy goodness on the inside, packed with protein, fiber, lower in calories, lower in cholesterol, and lower in fat. Hope you make them, hope you enjoy them. Leave your comments in the comment box. Have a great one. Thanks. Bye.